Good afternoon, good evening, good day. If I'm meeting you for the first time, I am Gladys. I make cakes, and over here I make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate baking and decorating easily. We are having a live debrief of our cake delivery process, and if you don't know what cake I'm talking about, check on the immediate live before this one. Okay, we made a cake. We spent the entire week trying to fix this cake, and we finally got it done. And it has just been delivered, okay? And my poor heart is poorly at this point, because I'm here to give you everything you need to know about how the cake was delivered and all the drama that came with it. But I'm glad I did it, and we're here now. So if you're seeing me, whether you're catching this on replay, this is cake making, cake delivery, real-time debrief. Okay, I'm bringing you everything you need to know about the delivery process. In fact, here's my fix kit, the box for my fix kit, and I'm sat here with a cup of tea because my poor heart needs it to chill out and calm down, because boy, it's been a lot. Let me sip tea whilst you are joining me. Who is in the live? Nobody yet, but it's not a problem. Whew. Happy Saturday though. How is your Saturday been? What have you been up to? And I have some surprise. Like, I met someone who found me. I met a subscriber, if you like. I don't like to call you subscriber. I met a villager who supports me, and it was lovely. It was really, really lovely. Can you tell I'm tired? You know what? I'm not like really. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to check the live chat. I can't see the live chat though.
I'm playing now.
Okay, it's 5:30. I'm talking to my son. So you have 2.5 hours. That should take us to 8 o'clock. Okay. Okay. All right. Amna, hello there. Hi, Amna. If I look like I'm a little bit distracted, it's because my poor heart has been put through the races. Delivering a cake is not for the faint-hearted, okay? And we delivered the cake. Look, my cake table just looks as it is. I have the box. I have the delivery box that carried the cake itself. I have collapsed it. This is it. There's chocolate, the chocolate for doing some of the work. So we'll be going through my delivery box fix kit. You will see some of the things that I took with me for the delivery in real time. Amna, if you want to see the cake I made, the live, if you go, let's watch this first, okay? But you can click out and join back in. But if you go back, if you click out and check the live library, there is a video of a live where I set the cake up at the venue. I have literally come back from setting the cake up, and that's why I'm here. So if you want to see the cake in real time when I set it up, just check the live before this one, and also check the community post for some of the behind the scenes shots. I haven't posted a clean photo of the cake finished, but you can see a video which is a live of when I set the cake up. So go check it out. Amma is asking where I'm from. Well, I am in the UK at the moment. I am talking to you from my UK-based home kitchen, but originally I'm from Ghana. Yeah, I'm Ghanaian, okay? But I am in the UK now. So if you are just Baba, Baba, Baba,
Yes.
do you want to turn it down, please?
Okay.
Whew. John, you're a beautiful little black cockroach. I've never heard that one before. Are you kidding? Okay. Am I supposed to be offended by that, or it's a compliment? I take it's a compliment, but maybe I'm missing something. My little heart probably understands sarcasm and don't take offense easily, but I hope you're not being rude. Nico, hello there. Hello there. All you new people who have just joined us. Hello. Are you all cake makers? Let's show me by hands if you love cake, as in you make cakes, or you just chanced here. Tell us who you are, where you are joining us from, and what the weather is like. We just want to know what you are up to today. It's Saturday here. It's Saturday right here in the UK. It's exactly 5:32, and I've just literally come back from delivering a cake. I have my cake fix kit here. We will look into it. The cake that I went to set up, we made it right here. I showed you some of the process throughout the week, from Tuesday through to yesterday. And then we've just gone to set it up. I have posted a live of the cake all set up. And I've just come back and I thought, let's do a live debrief of the moment. I don't speak American English. I'm sorry. I don't know what you mean, John. And if you do hear UK accents over there in the US, why are you on a UK-based channel, John? I think there are so many places you can go and have the fun that you need without bugging those of us who don't have a choice. I mean, I'm in the UK, so I speak... Yeah, John, if this is not the place for you, good luck and good day. Okay, honey? I don't speak American English, by the way. That's just by the way. So, yep. So let us know where you are joining us from, what you're doing, what the weather is like at yours. And Nico, thank you for stopping by and thank you for being here. Amna, thank you for stopping by. I have my, well, for those of you who still want to go and see the cake, you can go check the cake that we set up. But anyway, it's been a long week. A really, really long week. I'm exhausted. But I didn't want to wait and tell you. I wanted to bring you the real experience of what it felt like to deliver the cake so that you will see it for yourself. And boy, what a thing it was. First of all, going to deliver the cake was delivered stacked, which was going to be challenging. But did I tell you that the cake fell over and had a crack at the back? Dawn, you're the reason why I'm here. This is a live debrief. I have literally just delivered the cake. Thank you so very much, all of you who saw the other live. It came to me last minute. I was like, oh, if I film it it will have to go on a short, which won't be now. But all of you have been part of the process and you've seen my stresses and it's so in a moment of just spontaneity, I thought, let me just put you on a live so that you can see. But the place was noisy, so I couldn't address the live. I just turned the live on and then I took you through the cake. And then after I showed the cake, I checked out. There's music in the background, so the video can't be monetized. I've chosen not to monetize it. It's only 2 minutes because the music is, they had live music. Oh my God, the place was amazing. Now I wish I could have filmed the whole place. But you know what? As much as I sound so loud, I am very, very nervous when I'm in public. Because I know this, you and I over here in my home, like you know that kid who shouts at home and it's all bubbly. But when I step out, I am very like, I am very laid back because I realize that maybe I have manners when I step out, you know, and I'm not typically one of your creators who is obsessed about filming everything. Sometimes I just enjoy the experience of just being in the moment. So I don't get out of, even in moments where there's an opportunity to film, my first thought is not to pick up a phone at all. So bringing you on the live was a last minute thought, which meant that you missed out on some of the details of the place. The venue is absolutely stunning. But you know what? Besides the place being stunning, can I tell you, it is where it's located. It's right in the middle of a city center, a town center. And there is the access point to the place is limited. It's a beautiful venue. So imagine, I don't know how I explain it. Think about a beautiful venue in the middle of London, in between heavy traffic and everything else. And then you have a cake and there's no parking. Oh my God, it was a mess. It was a lot. Jocelyn Osekufo, Jocelyn had to say. Okay, let me bring you along the story. So where my poor heart at? Right, so yesterday, did you see me yesterday? Look, you will see me literally tell the story like I'm dozing. I feel like I'm dozing because my heart is like, oh, I can't. So grab a seat and let me tell you. Yesterday was a 4 a.m. start for me. Remember when I got up, I got the cake fixed and everything, and then I had to do school run and everything else. So by the time you saw me on the live, how many lives did I do yesterday? Was it 2? I can't even remember. Whatever I did, I set the cake in the fridge, and by 8 p.m. when my domestic duties were over. So when I signed off the live, I had mothering duties to go and attend to. And I tried to block that time for me and my son and domestic duties as well as everything else in between. So yesterday, let's just say from about 3:15 to 8 p.m., that time was blocked out. So I wasn't doing cakes. So the last time you saw me yesterday on a live, once the cake went into the cake fridge, I left it over there and then my life moved on. By 8 p.m., because my day had started as early as 4 a.m., I was completely shattered. And I mean broken, shattered. I was walking and my eyes were dozing. I was like, oh God, but I still have to polish off the cake so that I can leave it to set. Oh, honey, Jocelyn. Okay. Jocelyn, I'll talk to you in a moment, but let me not get distracted. So your cousin is Jemima. Lord. Okay, Jocelyn, let me just drink my tea. So anyway, I was walking and dozing last night, but I was determined to get this cake sorted. So guess what? By 9 o'clock, I cleaned my kitchen because when you're making a cake like the one I'm making, the kitchen is a small space. I've told you before. You will see it very soon. In the near future, you will see the kitchen. I will bring you along. But anyway, so I cleaned my kitchen. Imagine working when you're tired. Polish the cake off. Put it in the fridge. By 11 o'clock, I was in bed. So once I polished the cake off, I added the edible gold leaf. If you'll see the cake, you'll see the gold leaf detail over there. I did that last night and then I left the cake to set. So at 11 o'clock, I went to bed. Woke up this morning at 7:30. Once I woke up, got myself ready, straight back to the kitchen again. It was back to cake duties. This time I had to plan what decorations had to go on it. Here's a small detail about the cake that would have been missing in the details, right? When the cake was ordered, the brief was going to be gold and white and gold generally. And if you've seen the venue in the live, you would see that the cake sits, the color of the cake and the venue is perfect. However, the customer requested that there was some bold colors. And the bold colors was something, it's a fabric, it's a Ghanaian fabric that is called kente. And if you know anything about kente, it's a traditional woven cloth that is, its origins is traced back to the Akan people, and it's a woven cloth. It's handmade, hand woven. So it comes in such bold and beautiful colors that is so vibrant. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google kente cloth. It's spelled Kente. So she said to me, she wanted some of those bold colors to kind of be highlights on the cake. And in my mind, it's like, first of all, it's hard to conceptualize a man's cake. Men's cake is hard because if a man's cake, right, unless you are making it like a realistic item of something he likes. So if say he loves cigar, you can create a theme of a cigar, or you can create the theme of a suit, or a football if he's a guitar player. The hyper-realistic representation of a man's interest and hobbies or preferences, specific things they like, is easy. But when you thrown a brief as though it's a color, because she came to me with the theme of the event and the idea, which is she wanted a cake that is top forward. She didn't care for anything else. So what the man is not, or likes, isn't in the cake. I have to represent the shape of something to speak about a man, which is really hard to do. It is not my strongest point. I am as a cake artist, I am a very female-centered cake artist. I love the beautiful flowers and floral arrangements of a cake for a woman or a she. Like, that is what I specialize in. So when I have to make a cake for a man, unless it's a hyper-realistic cake of an item that suits them, I struggle to kind of conceptualize a theme. That is, if we're looking at an abstract idea. And this cake was very abstract in terms of, what does he like? I don't know, but I spoke to the wife and everything she gave me, right, was a man who is just God-centered. He's a pastor, by the way. He's a family man, true and true. But how do you represent family man, a pastor, on a cake? That would be the highlight. I can't carve a man. Do you know what I mean? So probably what also added to my stress throughout the week was that she didn't choose the hexagon. I went for the hexagon because I thought, well, conceptualizing a man's cake is going to be hard for me. So I am going to represent the concept using the shapes, which is the fine lines and the hexagon, which in itself will be representative of the abstract nature of the cake I was going for. It's so abstract because when you look at it, if you took out the balls, all you will see then is replace it with flowers, and then it becomes a female like scented cake. So anyway, I chose the hexagons because mentally I wasn't able to nail down the idea of what I really wanted this man to be like in a cake form. So I thought, let's choose the hexagon and then highlight it with who he is, which is he's a pastor, he's a father, and he's a husband, right? So when the wife said to me, I wanted some highlights, as in small highlights of the vibrant color, that was a detail that was secondary, because she told me, she said the theme is white and gold, and she even sent me some of the planning, as in what is it called, the themes, when you derive the concept in 2D form. Beautiful concepts. The way she is a designer by nature, like hats off to her. It was great working with her, because then she brought me the exact thing that she had planned in paper form, and she digitalized that and sent that to me. It was just nice. With all that niceness, every moment was raising the bar of expectation, because I'm like, we can't make a wonky cake. So I settled for the hexagon. Then I had to go and engineer the structure, which you people saw me literally huff and puff about. So anyway, those are all the real details of the cake making moments that you probably missed on the lives, because I wasn't like, because I was so distracted by what I was doing and stressing, this little information here is kind of like secondary, right? So last night, when I got the cake polished, got up this morning, I thought, okay, we have got the gold, okay? Because this morning, then I had to come and do the stenciling, because after putting the gold leaf on the cake and leaving the cake to set overnight, I had to wake up and do the stenciling. I also knew that the decorative elements would be gold and white balls and whatever. I spoke about that yesterday. Initially, it was going to be a cascade, as in when you look at the hexagon, you can look it from every angle and it will look like a cascade of gold balls kind of going round the cake. But after setting the cake up, the lines were so clean, I wanted the gold balls to be a highlight instead of the prominent feature on the cake. So I had to kind of rethink or reimagine how I had initially thought. And that was a secondary thing I had to put, like, I had to put that on standby. This morning, when I stenciled the cake, the stencil, I had two options of stencil. I had a diamond themed stencil, and then I had the stencil that would eventually go on the cake. And I thought, the stencil that is on the cake, it's like a square stencil. I'm too tired to get it. But when you see the cake, you'll see what I mean. And what I wanted was sweeping lines in one direction, where it would just look like it's distracting from the direction of where the edible gold. Go see the cake. My brain is glitching because I'm that like exhausted about the cake. So anyway, so I got up, settled on the stencil. Imagine, the initial stencil that I was going for was the diamond theme, and then I changed that for the sweeping lines. So when I did the stenciling this morning, I was then still left, because once the stencil got on the cake, I imagined the gold balls on the cake. I'm like, this cake is great without the highlights. Because remember, I say all of this to say the customer had asked for some bold colored highlight as secondary detail. But I couldn't see where those bold colors, like if we chose primary colors like your red, yellow, greens, which is primarily what kente originally looks like when you look at the print, I'm like, I don't know how I can represent it on the cake without that being so garish and a distraction. It will look so out of place, because so far the gold and the white had looked so good. And I just wasn't sure what else to do. But the thing is, when you speak to a customer and the intention has been set for them, you don't want to go make changes last minute. So I just realized that it's too late to kind of tell them, you know what, the color you wanted is out of place, because they just gave me a concept. They didn't know, and they still don't know what the cake will look like. So the moment you start telling them what can be and what cannot be, you will confuse them. And if they are already in a state of confusion and hassle with whatever they are doing over there, it might set panic. So I thought, okay, how can I represent the color? So actually what I did was I just got the kente print itself, represented it in edible image, and printed it out as a wafer paper. And then I created wafer paper circles. I don't know what they are called. If you look at the cake, you will see it. So I had to do all of that this morning. So you see, part of the cake decorating process from concept to execution can change. That's something you need to know. Because sometimes when you imagine something like as an idea, representing it in true form can really be different. And I can't tell you the number of times I've had a cake that I've imagined, even when you sketch it. Unfortunately, I don't sketch. All the cakes I make come from just the idea that I know what is in my head, but I can't draw. I'm not a sketch artist, so I can't do it. So anyway, so in terms of representing the highlight, I thought, okay, let's get the wafer paper and then add that as an element to the gold balls. And boy, did it not make a difference, because it tied into the cake. Now I wish, because I was worried that those highlights would be out of place, what I did was I blended white wafer paper into the bold colors. So the white kind of ended up, the bold colors got lost. So if you look at the cake, you can see subtle highlights of color from the wafer paper and the way they are designed. But now I wish I had really gone for it. But that is neither here nor there. It still looks fantastic. I did all that this morning, created the wafer paper stuff, but then I was stuck. Two things. Wafer paper is very, very tricky. If it comes into contact with moisture, it will begin to warp. So I was like, I created the design, but I couldn't have it on the cake yet because the cake was having to go back in the fridge. So I had to wait till the very last minute, like maybe half an hour before the cake was all ready, before I applied the wafer paper. And as soon as the wafer paper detail went on, I boxed the cake up. And that takes us to exhibit 1. There. There. Because I knew, oh God, let me show you. Let me 1 second, there's a knock on my door. Hello.
How you doing, Mum? You alright?
Yeah.
There you go, my darling.
Thank you.
No worries.
Is it Baines Way?
Sorry?
Baines Way.
Yeah, Bainsway, yeah.
Thank you.
See you later, yeah?
Thank you.
Take care, pretty lady.
Thank you. Oh dear. I got delivered a pizza live. Thank you. Oh, I see. I know where this pizza comes from. Oh, this is so sweet. This is so sweet. Okay. And guess what? Guess what? This video is not sponsored, people. don't think you guys. I know the internet. Not you people. But the internet is so. The internet is so distrusting of creators these days that creators find ways to sell you advertisements. Yeah, no, this is a pizza that's been delivered to me, surprisingly. I know who delivered this. Yeah, I know. This is so sweet. I've got to go say thank you to somebody, but not now, people. Let's hang out a little bit. Anyway, let's not be distracted by the pizza. This is my dinner because I am cooking today, okay? I'm not cooking. Anyway, let's put this away. And guess what the what do you call it? The delivery man said. I opened my window together. It's like, oh, this is for you, pretty lady. Okay, thank you. I'm not cooking. Seasons. Steph says, how are you? Let's get this. Anyway, so where was I? People. Okay, so we get the stencil done and the cake is all boxed up. I showed you the exhibit. Now, if you've been on the channel for a little while, you will know that this box was delivered on a live where I bought some cake decorating items, and I want a little part of me wants to box it so you can see what it looks like. But let's see if I can try. You won't see me when I do that, but you'll see what I mean. There you go. Right. It won't work, people. It won't work. But you get the point. It's a 14-inch. Oh God, I'm tired. I'm gonna leave this. It's a 14-inch cake. It's a 14-inch jeez, I'm tired. Can you tell? Right. So anyway, got that cake boxed up, and the height of the cake is about 23 inches in height, especially set on the cake stand. So got it in this box. I had a non-slip mat, but not this big, because this was for the car. This is a non-slip mat for the car, because when you're delivering a cake, you want to make sure that it is set steady so it doesn't shift. So this is a non-slip mat from the car, but I had a small, I'm not sure I have it here. We'll go through my fix kit so you'll see what is in it in a minute. So I had a non-slip mat in the box, and then the cake was set on it, and then I wrapped the box up in sellotape, as in black tape, to kind of steady the box. From there, the cake was set in the fridge for about an hour before transportation, because ultimately the cake was supposed to be picked up, but then I ended up having to deliver it because of some issues that were arising along the way. And I never deliver my cake stacked. I've said that before, but what this cake was and what it's supposed to do meant I had to stack it. And boy, can I tell you that 5 minutes, I'm talking, it's a half an hour's drive on the sat-nav, TomTom for some people. On the sat-nav, it indicated a 30 minutes journey. 5 minutes into the journey, the cake fell over. Let that sink in. Literally fell over. Because if you were here for the structure, the structure was not set in the middle. The structure was set off center. So if the middle is here, which will be the center of gravity, the cake was set away from the center, which is somewhere here. Now, my car is very small, okay? The car has not got because I thought if I collapse my boot, the boot is elevated, so the 23-inch won't sit and it won't be secure. So normally, like I said, I don't deliver my cake stack. So this was a first time experience. In the past, when I have delivered a stacked cake of 2 tiers, I've actually delivered a stacked cake, the first gravity defying that has, the video is up here. I had a driver, so I was literally sitting with the cake on my lap and held in place with a seat belt, and that centers the cake. Okay, it's not the safest, but at some point there is really no safe way of delivering a cake stacked. All you have to do is mitigate your worries and proceed accordingly. So this time I don't, if I had someone to drive, then I would just hold the cake, which will be fine because the structure is solid. I say that to say I couldn't put the cake in the boot, so I had to collapse a seat, which means my seat wasn't flat, because for the cake that is off center, you need a flat surface. But when you're driving, you are never going to go straight. Like, you have incline, you have dips, and 5 minutes in, the cake literally just went all the way back. I looked in my mirror and the cake is gone. Lord. My poor heart. And I was on a highway. My poor heart left my body. Okay? Whew. Jesus. I wanted the quickest exit point. Oh, people, you have no idea. I'm telling you. The box. Okay, let's see if I can show you the evidence. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, here. Oh, it's a small detail. I wiped it down, but it's a small detail. You have some ganache markings here. Like, literally. So, mind you, when I say the cake fell, it didn't fall all the way down because of the structure. What it did was it tipped over. So if the structure wasn't solid, the cake would have just cracked through. But the structure is so solid, plus the cake had reinforcement. We had the washers, we had the nuts, and then we had the small cake boards. Go back and look at the structure of the cake that I built and how I set the third tier on it. There was no way that cake would have fallen through, but because the structure took the impact of the fall, because it tipped over backwards because it was off center, and because the car seat where it was sat wasn't level, it meant the weight shifted to the back, which tipped the cake backwards. So the top tier literally slammed into the headrest of the car. Oh my God. Whew. That was like my heart. Like, so I literally, when I saw it, because at that point, the cake is in the box, and the box literally is tall enough, so I could only see the box tipped over. And at this point, my life is gone. Like, my little son is in the car. He's literally sat next to the cake, and the cake is tipping because on the on the drive, right, we had to turn round the roundabout. So the cake is tipped like that, and I have to turn. And at this point, I don't know the damage that has been done. Like, God. So I literally put my hazards on. Literally put the hazards on and was looking in my mirror, the mirror, like as in the driver's mirror, looking in my rear view, just looking at other drivers to see if anybody was going to react, because I was trying to make a quick, sharp turn into a slow lane and then exit to a side road to check on the cake. Oh my God, that was a lot. And guess what? Because there were so many roundabouts. In the end, I exited a roundabout and then pulled up on an exit point. And then I just put my hazards on, jumped out of the car. When I looked, the cake had cracked from the top all the way to the middle and the bottom. But the crack was more like a superficial crack. But I wasn't concerned the cake was going to fall. My biggest concern was making sure that the cake will get to its destination, because I had already had a fixed kit and I had anticipated some of these issues. So I kind of reset the cake. What did I even do? I literally went into my boot, took off my I don't know what it's called, the cover. When the car boot has a cover, I took the boot, kind of tried to secure the box so that it's kind of it's secure in place so it doesn't move. That helped a little bit. And then my journey was rerouted. Because I was that stressed, I ended up on a different route, and I was rerouted, which started my journey time to another 35 minutes instead of the original 30 minutes. And I tell you, when you're delivering a cake and 5 minutes in, your cake has already collapsed and you have a crack, every minute counts. God. What did I make the balls out of? I bought them, Dawn, I bought the balls. I will show you. We'll come to the fixed kit. We'll get through the fixed kit. You will see all the stuff that is in. And like I told you before, what you didn't see on the live, I filmed a lot of it for shorts. I'm too tired to even think about creating a short video soon, but I promise you, in the future, you will see the shorts of this process altogether. But the balls, I bought them. You can buy them on Amazon. And I have a very a reliable seller who has them in very good quality when you get them. So, yeah, I didn't make the balls. They were bought. So, yeah, managed to get through the exit on the drive. Oh, you're driving on roads that are national speed limits of 60 miles. And at 60 miles in the lanes, you have the fast lane where people kind of just literally zoom off. And even in the slow lane, I'm doing 49 miles. I'm hogging the road. And you can see the drivers behind me, their reaction when they manage to overtake. The way they whiz past me, they want to say, get out of this road. And I'm saying, in my head, I'm like, me and my precious cake, we're creeping on this road. So we crept, and we got to this place. Well, we didn't. The sat-nav took us exactly to the place we needed to go, except, you know, when the sat-nav tells you your destination is to the right, and you look to the right and it's a desert and there's no building. That's the equivalent of what I had. It says your destination is to the right, and I looked, and there is a set of houses and a wall separating the venue from where I am with the cake. And at this point, there are roadworks happening. So part of the access point is also sealed off with some barricades, people. We're talking a whole street away. So I'm stood there thinking, how am I going to get a cake across to another street when I'm on the opposite street? Because I could see the sign for the building I have to access, but I couldn't see the access point. So I rolled down my mirror. I saw a lady with a baby, and I said, hello, how do I get to this place? And they said to me, oh, you have to drive round. Guess what? I drove all the way around, and tell me where I ended up. On a busy street. On a busy town center street. With double yellow lines everywhere. People. So now I'm like, Jesus, how do I access this place with all these double yellows? Because now I could see the building, but I could also tell that car access points, I'm not sure. And I didn't want to incur a ticket. So I'm like, huh. So you know what? I pulled up on a double yellow line, stuck my head out, and asked somebody, I'm like, how do I get to this place? And boy, oh boy, aren't people kind? You know what? Some days, when you see the worst form of society, just pray for a miracle. Because before I left home, I said my prayers. I said, Lord, we are delivering this cake to your servant because it's a pastor's cake. God, show up for us. Honestly, that was my prayer. I'm like, Lord, we're delivering this cake to your servant. Let this cake get to its destination in form. Okay? And you know what? Yes, the cake did kind of tip backwards and there was a crack which I could fix. But the miracle was in the form of genuine people. Because imagine a busy town center street on double yellow lines. My hazards are on. I'm freaked out because all I'm thinking about is I've got a fixed kit. I've got a son to take care of. There is a heavy cake. What am I doing here? When I pulled up and I was like, girl, do you know how I can get there? The lady looked at me and was like, oh, I'm not local, but I can go and check. And she literally took a long walk, about 300 meters, to go and ask. And then she came back and she's like, well, there is an access there, but I'm not sure cars can go there. And while she said that to me, another lady comes by. She's a pedestrian, somebody random. And I said to her, I'm like, do you know how I can get there? She looked at me. She's like, no, but I can wait here with the car. I can wait here whilst you inquire. I'm like, will you? So you know what? My hazards are on. A stranger is literally offered to stand by the car and wait whilst I move the cake. But I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do? So I pack any valuables because you know what? Whatever is left, if you want to go with the car, be gone. The cake has to go. So I get out of the car, pack my valuables into my handbag, hand it to my son. Children, in all this stressful moment, he's just over there playing with his phone and just mindless and none the wiser. So I say to him, sir, do you want to help me by holding my handbag? And he gets distracted. I snatch the phone off his hand, throw it into the bag. I'm like, be gone. Anyway, whilst I'm doing all of that, I see another car come past me, and the exit point where I am stood on double yellow lines, a driver makes it past behind me and then goes and parks in this place that I wasn't sure I could access. I was like, is this worth the risk? Oh, yeah. So I look at the lady who stood there watching over the car, the person who volunteers to look after my car. I say to them, look, don't worry, sis. Thank you very much for your kindness. I'm driving the car to this place. So I move off the double yellow line, drive into the middle of a town center block of buildings, right in the middle, pulled up. And whilst I'm pulling up there, I see two other cars. So I realize that, okay, it is safe to park beside them. I come out of the car. There are some guys coming out of the building. I'm like, with the cake in hand. I'm like, I have a cake. Are you connected to this building? And a very tall man looks at me and goes, oh, we are the caterers. We've just come to set up the food. I'm like, oh, you're the person I'm looking for. Where do I set this cake? He's like, I don't know, but we've been packed here for a little while. We need to move now. So I'm like, okay. So I'm holding this cake. I'm like, the cake is heavy. Can someone help me? And then another guy comes and instructs me to put it on a coffee table. So just to show you where this building is. This building is in the equivalent of a city center. But this is a town. I don't know if MK is a city or a town. But it's in the middle of a city center. So you have other shops all adjacent and connected to this building. So there's a coffee and a dessert shop just close to this building, which is the event hall, and the coffee and dessert shop has coffee tables outside. So I'm literally stood in front of the coffee shop with the cake in hand. My son is freezing cold, and I speak to this guy and he tells me, look, I need to go, but this is the building, by the way. So another guy comes and asks me to put the cake on one of the coffee tables that belongs to the coffee shop. So I put the cake on there, and now I have to go and organize the fixed kit and everything. But whilst I'm organizing the fixed kit and the other items to get into the building, I see somebody who is going up, and then I see a signpost that is directing traffic, as in pedestrian traffic, to the event hall. So I realized, okay, I'm at the right place. But people, my troubles are not over, because the building has, at least, I stand to be corrected, but the building has no lift. Yeah, no lift. So there are about 3 sets of stairs ascending. 3 sets. And I think each set is about 6 to 8 steps. I may be wrong, but a set of them ascending to this. And I'm looking at the cake and I'm looking at my footwear and I'm like, the occupational hazard of delivering a cake in this place. Lord, you better send your angels down here. So anyway, off I went with the cake. Jocelyn's like, oh dear. When mom comes home, ask mom, okay? So I just go for the cake and I'm holding my breath. I managed to make it all, because after the first 3 steps, you have a hallway, and then you have another 2 steps. Sets of steps, I mean. So 5 sets of steps in total, and I get to this place. And boy, what a beautiful venue that was. But I didn't have time to take in the venue, because at that point I'm like, cake, let's be done. Because I knew the crack was on the back and I needed to kind of look at that. So anyway, go set the cake down. And now when you're going to go set up a cake, depending on what it is, you need to go find the venue people and what the allocation of the cake table is, so that there's the designated area. And there are considerations for that. You have to make sure that the designated area is not around a heat source, i.e. a radiator or a heater in any form. Possibly it should be allocated around the coldest area in the room and all. There are real considerations. So as a wedding cake maker, if you're working with venues, I don't do that a lot because this process is stressful, you know. When you see people who specialize in wedding cakes, believe me, it's a different skill. So you know what? Those people who like to say, the moment I put a wedding to it, things become expensive. It's not so much that, but the level of stress. Because when you work with certain venues, I mean, generally most venues that are like proper, well-known venues, I'm not talking halls. When you're working with hotels, for insurance reasons, they will demand to know your certificate of liability, right? So you'll contact the venue, let them know your certificate of liability, deliver the cake with all the allergen information, because the hotel staff are going to serve the cake, you see. So when you work with venues and you become their designated supplier, there's a sort of relationship there that is important and that has to be adhered to and recognized. When you're working with certain halls, sometimes the patrons just rent the hall. So as a cake maker or a service person, I don't know who the hall belongs to, or I have no relationship with the whole people. But if there is an events organizer, I need to liaise with the events organizer to tell them where the cake has to be set, especially if I am not set. Sometimes the cake just has to be delivered and left. But even so, I have to make sure every information for the best outcome of the cake is passed on, so that people are aware and don't mishandle the cake. Except on this occasion, I had to deliver the cake and set up, and the people, the events organizers and the planners, I have a relationship with. So once I get over the staircase, I literally go to find the customer, who herself is a decorator, as in an events decorator. She wasn't there, but her other colleagues and associates were there. So eventually I found the person who pointed to where the cake would be. And the cake, if you go back and watch the video, you will see that the cake is literally sat on the stage. Now you don't want a wonky cake. For sure. Because you definitely don't want a wonky cake. Because if the cake is wonky, everybody is going to be seeing that cake. So when the event planner pointed out and said, it's the glass round table, I was like, oh my goodness. Not that I thought it was a wonky, but I'm like, oh my God. When the customer called me and told me she wanted the cake to be the star of the show, she meant every word. Because boy, the table on which the cake was going to be sat is amazing. And it kind of tied into when you, on the live, I did say the reason why I went for the plastic clear feet for the cake structure was because I wanted it to be presented as though it was floating. Exactly that. Because when it's set on the glass, the clear feet disappears. It doesn't stand out at all. So when you look at the base structure, the cake looks like it's floating on a glass top. Beautiful. So my job was then to go and fix the kit. But that wasn't my only problem. Driving in a little car on a dingy country road, losing my way, putting hazard on, being a nuisance, the cake collapsing with the crack, going over the staircase, the double yellow lines and not finding my way. Those were the least of my problems, because naturally, one of the issues that had come with the cake as it traveled set on the structure was because now the cake is setting, because gravity will work against you on a cake like that when you have the cake towering down. So when I took the cake out, guess what I saw? The bottom of the cake, the ganache was leaking out a little bit. And that is where my fix kit came in handy. Because then with my fix kit, I was able to clean that ganache off, polish out the lines, fix the crack on the back. And then when we were making the cake, I told you that I wasn't looking for the cake to be perfectly polished, because the texture on the cake was going to lend to the cake. Eventually, that's what happened, because at the venue, the cake had been out of the fridge for a little while now. Now it had begun to thaw. So the ganache didn't hold firm. The ganache was coming to room temperature, because this is after a 40 minutes journey with all the hassle, right? Plus the cake was already coming to room temperature so that I could travel with it without trouble. So at this point, the ganache was beginning to thaw, which meant that fixing it was going to be challenging for a polished look. Plus, I had already stenciled the cake, and we also had gold painted detail. If I did anything else, we were going to have a garish looking cake. So my option was to just close the crack, make sure the cake is set, and leave the texture on it. And I show you all of that on the live. When you go back and see the live of the venue and the cake setup, I took you round the cake to the back. Because I wasn't talking over it, you probably would notice. But if you go back, now that you have context to the story, if you go back and watch the video, when I take you round the cake, at the back of the cake, I point at something, and I was definitely pointing to the texture and the crack that was fixed. So go check that out. And guess what? Some of it, I was so stressed that I wanted to film the setting up process, but I was so stressed that sometimes I even forgot to press the start for the camera because I was that stressed about it. But I did film some parts, and I posted the finished cake on the live anyway, so you can go and see that. But the fix kit, okay. Here was the black sellotape that went around the box. I had the bubble wrap had the acrylic detail, because the acrylic detail was so delicate I didn't want it to break. So they were wrapping the acrylic detail on the cake, because the topper says made in 1975. It's a 50th birthday, and I didn't want to put happy 50th. I just wanted something so that was personalized. So 50th in 2025 sets him back from 1975 when he was born. So we have a topper which says made in 1975, and then next below that we have husband, father, and pastor. I don't know what order they came in, but anyway, you can check that on the... So my fix kit, this is a raw detail of what you see. This is a flexi smoother that was used to smooth out the ganache and the texture on the back. I had to use that to clean stuff. So you're looking at yeah, so this is the fix kit here, right here. It's everything I took with me. And sometimes I take things that I know I probably won't need, but I'm like, I'll take it nonetheless, because you never know. When you're delivering a cake, sis, you never know. So that's our flexi smoother. I took some vinegar with me, clear vinegar. You wonder what clear vinegar is. Clear vinegar with some tissue paper will polish off, because I was worried, because I set the cake at home first with the ganache and everything on the acrylic, because the acrylic was a mirrored acrylic topper, and sometimes it can be cloudy with the ganache sticking on it, and wiping it can leave it a little bit dull. So you need clear vinegar to be able to polish it back to a mirrored state so that it's clean and polished. So that's why I have vinegar, and that's a clear tissue. You need a clear fine tissue, because if you're going to use it to clean a mirrored acrylic, you don't want to cause texture or markings on it. So I had to pick some of this tissue over here. I had myself a glass cup. Now, why do I have a tall glass cup? Well, a tall glass a thing like this, I needed something tall just in case I needed to dip a knife or something in warm hot water. Because when you go to the venue, sometimes even a hotel, when you ask for hot water, they bring it to you in small cups, and I'm like, this is no good to me, people. Can you bring me something that works? So you know what? I've done this too many times to realize that no, pick something that can help you. And you need a proper glass that can hold boiling water without cracking, because you need it for work. And that's the little lifesaver. I told you when I was working yesterday that one of the best investments I've made in my decorating tools is this, because they come in a set of 3 for £22. And I remember when I bought them, I was moaning. I was like, this is expensive. And guess what? Those have come handy. So that's my spatula. You can see all of these were used. Please don't do that. Can I have it? Can I have the scissors? Okay. Do not touch that. Go and play your game. Or has it crashed? Okay. I have a pair of scissors. I have the pair of scissors. I didn't take it. My son just brought that too. I have my small spatula, and then I had my flexi smoother here, the metal flexi smoother, and all of those had to go into this just in case I needed some hot water. Next, okay, right. So here is the mat, the non-slip mat that went in the box. The big one was like spread in the car seat over which the cake was set, but this was the mat that went in the box, and then the cake was sat on it. So that's the non-slip mat. I had to cut it last minute because it was bigger, and I had to cut it to the size of the box. That's why I've got two. So that too came with me. Then next, I had spare ganache here. I had to use a stainless steel sort of bowl. Why? Because sometimes when you get on site and you have plastic, they don't have access to a microwave. So I had to anticipate in the event that I had to reformulate the ganache. I can sit this in like warm water, a bowl of water, to reconstitute it so I can apply it, because ganache sets hard. As you can see, it's set hard and it will not be any good for me to use. So the idea was, if I got stuck, I'll fill this with hot boiling water, sit this over it so that it will warm up this bowl so that I can use it to kind of fix stuff. And it did come in handy. Next, I had to take my foil tape just in case there was like the cake, because the cake broke, as in there was a crack in it. I didn't know if the cake was going to crack or something was going to happen. I had to pick the foil tape with me for just in case there was an issue. That meant I had to take the cakes down and reset the structure and secure it. So that's the foil tape. But this is the black sellotape that would eventually go around the box to secure the box tight, because as you can see, the box is a DIY self put together sort of thing. So I needed some black tape to kind of secure it tight. And so that's in my fix kit. And then I had myself a metal cutter to kind of snip things if I needed to. For instance, if I needed to cut, what did I just do there? If I needed to cut into some of the wire that was used to secure the acrylic detail, then I could cut that. And if I needed to snip some of the metal bits that was attached to the balls, that is fine too. So that's a wire cutter I took with me. I took myself an acrylic disc just in case I have to transfer the cake. I had something that I would take to take off the tier. These were like anticipatory. I wouldn't have necessarily needed this if I didn't have any issues, but you almost have to anticipate what you will need for moving a cake just in case you need to refix or even reset the tier. So that's a clear thing. I had a brush that wasn't necessarily for painting. Sometimes when you have texture and having to scrape on the cake would give you more texture. Sometimes you need a fine bristled brush to kind of like get rid of texture and detail. So I took that for that reason. So not necessarily for painting, but to brush off details if and when a scraper will not be the best the best tool to use. And then I took myself an extra spatula, which I used. As you can see, it's been used. I had myself a kitchen knife, again, for brushing off details, like trimming fine things if you need to. And that again informed why I had a tall glass. Next, I had myself here, I had myself a nut and a washer. Just as I had the foil tape, I had a nut and washer just in case the tier collapsed and I had to reset it. So that's some plastic with the nuts in and some oil so that it's easy to kind of apply or use if I needed to. And then let's see, I have these are tissues I actually used on site. I have my metal thing here. It's like a shovel thing. This part is very fine. It can help me lift a cake if I need to. And this part will help me apply ganache if I need to. That's a tripod bit. And then the pack itself is the pack that carried the the acrylic discs as the topper, the pack. And I had these small lollipop sticks. The lollipop sticks were to secure the wire for the toppers. And I took an extra wire to sort of pre-drill a hole before I secure the toppers into it. If you look at the cake, you will see what I mean. So the topper, let me see if I have some of the toppers left over. Okay, yep. I have some toppers left over. Like, for instance, here's what it looks like. So the topper came as this alone, and I had to add this. This is a floral wire, as in a floral wire added here. All I did was I think this is a 22 gauge, I may be wrong, floral wire, and what I did was I put it, you just warm it up, and then when it gets hot, you stick it into the acrylic, and then it will secure it. And so you can just push this into a cake. But to make it food safe, I have these lollipop sticks where, after doing that, you can actually wrap this in foiled floral tape before you poke it into the cake. But you can also just have an acrylic thing. Yep. Lollipop thing. So this was number one dad. Sometime when I get toppers, depending on the concept, I order a few different things. So we had husband, father, pastor, and then the maid in 1975. And then we had number one dad, because his wife spoke about what an amazing father he is and everything else. So I got number one dad. But after putting the details, this had no place in it. So this is just an extra that didn't go. And then you just take that here, and that's it. So that's number one dad. And the kente detail, this is what we did. So I cut the wafer paper into circles, and then I formed them into this shape. I don't know what they are called. It's kind of missed me right now, but this is what I did. A few of these, and some of them in very different designs, and then they were stuck on the cake. You can see that. Seasons is asking, do you have a carry case for all your supplies? What do you mean? A carry case for, is it the fixed kit? I do have a carry case for my fixed kit. It's a thing. Today I was just in a rush. I just threw them in a box, because today I wasn't thinking, because once I realized I had to deliver the cake myself, I was like stressed. So I just threw them. But I have a carry case. But you know what? I am always on the lookout for something a lot more organized. The carry case that I have used in the past is still like a plastic tub thing that everything goes in. And sometimes I use a cake box. So I don't have an organized carry case. Look, sis, if you can get me a carry case, or you have recommendations for a carry case, I'll take it. Now, Dawn was asking about the balls. These are the balls. These are the balls. They are pre-bought. I bought them on Amazon, and you can buy them. They come sometimes in multiple sizes, and sometimes you can buy a particular size. So I bought them all mixed. I think I had about 4 boxes of these in different sizes, from large to small, and then I arranged them and then got them done. I have some left over anyway. I have more than I need. Jocelyn, thank you. You know what? Now that you've heard the story, let mom come and fill you in about how she had fun at the venue, but it was beautiful. But I'm sure I'll catch you again, lovely. Thank you for being here, and thank you so much for your insights. So yeah, that's the box, and yeah, another scraper. And yeah, that's the fixed kit. This is an edible pen. I just thought if I needed it, it's a Hobbycraft edible pen. It's so stressful, my dear. So yeah, that's everything I needed to deliver the cake. And so, yeah, the wafer paper, by the way, one little detail. You cannot apply wafer paper on a cake using water or sticky glue. It will come off or it will absorb the moisture. So you have to use chocolate. So I melted white chocolate dry, okay, and then I attached the detail using that. So that's everything I used on the cake. Yeah, once I delivered the cake and got it all set up, fixed. Look, when I was fixing the detail, I was too stressed to even think about picking up a camera. Okay, I was too stressed. But I did film some parts which you will probably see in later shorts and stuff. But much of the cake, you've seen it now. You've seen me set up the cake at the live. I really wanted to give you that experience of you seeing what the cake is like when it's set up. So if you are joining us, and you don't know what cake I'm talking about, the immediate live before this one shows you what the cake looks like when it was all set up at the venue. It's a beautiful place. I need some sleep. Yeah, I've just had my cup of tea. I have a pizza delivered. I need to sleep. Like today, right now, the reason why I'm enjoying my time with you is whilst I'm doing all of this, my son is in the background. He's my healthy assistant. And I made him a promise. I said, you know what? If you come along and you do as you're told and you behave like a child who has manners, you're going to come home and have some computer time. Because the truth is, I disturb his peace about the computer. I do not want that boy to have fun on his computer. Believe me. Like, I'm the parent who's like, why are you on the computer? So, the reason why I am enjoying my time with you is because I have to keep that promise. So he has a full hour and a half or so on the computer. And I intend to not interrupt him. But once he's done, I'm like, boy, we need to go to bed. So he's having his break on his computer, chilling out, whilst I'm hanging out with you here. But once I sign off, people, I'll be gone, okay? I will be gone. I told you before. Have I told you before that when I get such a stressful cake done, I need weeks to recuperate, okay? It's a shame Christmas is coming. It's a shame Christmas is coming. Dolly, did you say it's a boy thing? Oh, and by the way, I literally nearly missed out the best detail of all of this cake. I met one of you villagers. If you've been here, there is someone in the chat, normally in the chat. She's Nana Wusua. I know her as Brenda. She's a villager and a supporter of us. She was at the party. Can you imagine? It was such a special moment. You know, the moment where our online games here translate into like physical, like it was so exciting. So I'll set the scene of how that happened. I've told you, I am loud, lousy, and all brash over here. But when I get out socially, I have manners. First of all, I am really shy about like sticking a camera in anybody's face. And secondly, I am also very shy. I'm not shy, but I'm a little more withdrawn when you meet me, at least in our first interaction. Because over here, I'm sat in the convenience of my kitchen, okay, shouting at you. Okay. I'm sat here shouting at you. But when I step out, I don't know who is there. So it takes me a little while to kind of like catch on. But if you saw me and you came and you were like, if you and I have like an online code, right? And you see me, maybe the best way you can get the best initial reaction is to actually just go into the code. So for instance, Dolly, if Dolly saw me and was like, hey, Auntie Gladys, then I know, oh, I know you. Because not a lot of people my age call me Auntie Gladys. Most people who call me Auntie Gladys are my nieces and nephews. Yeah. So if Dolly saw me in town and was like, Auntie Gladys, I will know where that comes from. So here's what happened. I set up the cake. I have a great time. I'm still stressed because my poor heart is still recovering. I managed to pack my stuff and my fixed kits. I'm headed out. Make it all the way down these 5 sets of stairs, now descending. I get to the door. And there's a lady perched right on the door. It's a glass door that you push and pull, and it's a 2 door thing, and she's just literally perched on the door looking at me so shyly, right? So I come down and she says to me in Ghanaian language, I will interpret. She says, "Today I will eat your cake." That's just a generic thing. And the way she says it, right, in my mind, I'm recalling 2 things. If you don't know I make cakes, you would know me from being like a master of ceremony. And I have this weird sort of occurrences, right, where I will see people in town and they run up to me and they be like, "Oh, hello, how are you?" And they get all overly friendly, right? And I'm not rude or anything. I will respond. But after I walk away, I am confused because I'm like, where does she know me from? Because when they come up to me, they don't say, "Oh, hi, I saw you at X event being the master of ceremony," or "I saw you at X church on the podium doing ABC." Because now I have different sources of people who know me, but sometimes I don't know them. As in, I don't know who you are, but I'm not being rude. So if you came up to me and like, "Hey, glad I see you on the YouTube channel," then at least I have some sort of context to where you know me from. But otherwise, I have 4 things. Like I have 4 avenues from where I have to figure out, where do you know me from? And I am sometimes too shy. The way the people are so friendly, I am sometimes a little bit too shy or slightly embarrassed to go, "I'm sorry, where do you know me from?" Like so when people see me and they're like, "Oh, hi, how are you? It's great to see you." I go, "Hi, it's great to see you too." But from when the encounter is broken and the people move on, I am left wondering, who are they? Where did they come from? Help me out. What should I do? Should I ask them where they know me? Or sometimes the encounter kind of goes on for a little while, like we exchange pleasantries and then we talk a little bit, we make small talk, and then I kind of figure out where they may know me from whether it's a church event that I was a master of ceremony of, or a wedding or something. But otherwise, I don't walk around thinking that people on my YouTube channel will know me or see me. Like, it's a very weird thing. I'm in my house, in my kitchen, I talk about cakes. I don't walk out of my house believing that people in the outside world are looking for me. Okay? It's weird. So anyway, this is me. The lady shyly goes, "Today I will eat your cake." So I also shyly say to her, like in a nice way, because I don't know who she is. So I said, "Really? Okay." And that's all I said. I said, "Really? Okay." And then she says, "Oh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, thank you. And you?" And I'm still like trying to organize myself. And then she looks at me. So when I say, "And you?" she looks at me and she goes, "Oh, I'm Brenda." And for a minute, it's like somebody has smacked me across the face, because then suddenly it's like, "Oh, shoot, I know you. You have even WhatsApped me. I've spoken to you. And you're literally stood by the door like hiding. Like, what is that?" So in that moment, I was like, "Oh, Brenda, come on. You're being silly now. You should have just said, 'Oh, hi, Glad. It's great to see you. It's Brenda.' And then we'll probably be digging it out here. You were literally stood there staring at me. So if I was doing something untoward, then what?" So we had a laugh, and I took her. She literally, I took her back because she's a cake maker herself, right? So I took her back to the venue. I talked her through the cake. So I had a subscriber, a villager, a supporter of ours, literally have a first-hand encounter of the cake setup and the challenges. Everything I've told you right now, she was there. I told her, like, I showed her what it looked like, and then we had some cake chats and, you know, things that she hopes to achieve. It was really, really, really nice. So in that moment, I literally forgot my cake troubles. I did forget my cake, because suddenly it was like, she's like, oh, I've seen you all week on the channel. You said you're stressed. And she said, I said to my husband, I know where that cake is going. I'm like, well, how did you know? She's like, because I found you because you made a cake for a pastor X amount of years ago. And that was the first time I ate a cake. And I was like, I wish I knew who made this cake. And then by some sort of fate and serendipity, we kind of found each other online and stuff like that. So it was a real nice connection. Her husband came, lovely guy. Now here, fun fact, actually, I have never shared this on line, but anyway, her husband, a very lovely, lovely, lovely guy, in the past contacted me to kind of wish his wife a happy birthday as a surprise, because his wife cannot stop talking about how amazing my cakes are and how she would love to upgrade her skills so she could make cakes like I do, which was such like an honor. Like, I make cakes and I talk to you about cakes. I do not perceive that somebody in their house idolizes what I do, to the point where their husband calls me, like he seeks my number out, and he calls me one day and he's like, you know what, I would love you, if even you can't do anything, just send a message to my wife or just to say happy birthday, because you wishing her happy birthday is actually the surprise, the thing that will. I'm like, what? Come on, I'm in on it. So on the birthday, I actually called, yes, on the birthday. So we set it up as this, that they were actually having a family do or something, and I was going to have to call in or something like that. But I also didn't want to take a, like, for me, I just felt a little bit like, you know what, this should be your moment. So what I did was I actually pre-recorded a message and edited it nicely, because this lady has been such a supporter of mine for a very long time, and genuinely nice person. Like most of you in the chats, like your dollies, like your lollipop, star Peter, dons, and like I see her in the chat and I know her by name in the chat. She's Nana Wusua. So I had also taken a cake consultation with her, and she wanted some mentoring. And at the time, I didn't have space and time in my life for that. And I still don't anyway. So I was honest with her. I'm like, look, I can give you a blueprint. I have nothing to sell you. And the simple reason is I don't want to put my name to something when I haven't actually planned it out. You know, so yeah. She's been one of the faithful people that I acquainted with online, and it's been such an amazing experience. So her husband contacted me and was like, if you can do this. I'm like, no worries. So I actually took some of the messages I had received, and then I sent her an edited video. So one of them videos where you wake up to a message and it's like, I was making a short something about a cake, and then she hears the voiceover and she screams. She said the husband recorded the response and sent it, like it was mad. I say all that to say things happen on this behind the scene that I don't tell you about here, but it was lovely to kind of put a face to the husband who called me, because I don't know the husband. This random guy calls me to send a message to his wife, and then I got to meet him. They were such a lovely, lovely couple. We took some pictures. We hung out for a minute before I left. So one of you is going to be eating my cake today, and Jocelyn in the chat. Now, Jocelyn tells me it's her cousin who is the customer. So Jocelyn is in the chat. She's since left now, but her mom is at the event. So I'm sure people in the chat, you villagers, a few of you will eat the cake and then you come back with the feedback. I am excited to hear firsthand what that feels like. So that would be Brenda. But if the photograph, because when these things happen, it's so spontaneous. Like I said, my first thought is not to capture an image. My first thought is to enjoy the experience. So actually, Brenda and her husband and we caught up. It was not a recorded session or anything. And when I was just about to leave, I'm like, oh, actually, can we take a selfie? And her husband was so lovely. He took some photos, and Brenda said she will send them to me. So when they do, I might post them on the community post for you to see or something. That's if I get to it. But it's neither here nor there. I say all that to say the stress was worth it in the end. The stress was so worth it in the end. The cake and where it was placed, my heart was full. When I was leaving, I went to the planners. I'm like, you need to kind of either move this cake from this place to a chill room, because this cake is on a structure and you don't want it to collapse in this warm place, because the place was warm, but the cake was just set right in place. Beautiful. Look, I'm not saying it's beautiful because I made the cake, but the venue, the decor, and the cake placement, you couldn't have done anything better. Amazing. If you want to see it, you can go to the community post and check it out. It's all there for you to see. It's a great looking cake. And yeah, here we are. I am here. My day of cake adventure has come to an end. It's not a day, it's a week. But the debrief of cake delivery and the stress of it, boy, oh boy, we are here now. But yeah, I am excited to have brought you along the journey. I don't always look like this when I deliver a cake, but these days I'm like, I make the effort. I do make the effort, because look, I met one of you. Can you imagine if I was looking like a piece of tooth? Dolly. Oh, Dolly says I will visit one. Dolly, you have an anniversary cake for me. I'm looking at you because I remember what you said about the anniversary cake. I haven't forgotten, you know. So if you really, really, really meant the cake, there are different ways. Like, come think about what you really want to do. But it will be exciting to help. Yeah, that's all. But otherwise, yeah, the cake, Mamu, yeah, the cake is done. It's already up on the live. Who is King? King, who is Inamdi? Why are we who is Inamdi? We don't know anything about Inamdi. Why is free Namdi? What's that all about? Dolly says, I'm glad you are happy about it. That's the most important thing. My dear, you know what? The cake was all set up. We are here now. Now I want to see the wedding cake. Did you say, Dolly, did you say you posted the wedding cake? Dolly, did you say you posted that wedding cake? I will check it out. But yeah. Otherwise, people, look, it's 7 o'clock. I have to wake up and clean this, eat my pizza, and go and sleep. Okay? That will be me. So if you want to see the cake, I'll post some of the pictures on the community post after I sign off this live. But you can check the immediate live before this one for the cake itself. We are done with the cake delivery debrief and the stress. Aaron is back. Aaron, how are you? Aaron, we set the cake up. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Okay. Aaron, you are joining oh, you were chasing to say, okay, here's the good news. We are signing off right now because I came to give you a cake delivery debrief. How the cake cracked and the drama. My poor heart. My poor heart needs a hug. My head hurts. But the cake itself is set in there is a 2 minutes live just before this one, because I delivered the cake and I got back in about 20 minutes past 4, so it's been delivered a little while now. But when I set it up, I made a live. You can go see it. It's the live before this one. So as soon as we sign off, if you check the live library, the video before this one, you will see the cake all set up actually live, a beautiful venue and everything else. So go catch all of that. And yeah, for the rest of you, it will be, I'm gonna love you and leave you, and I'll catch you on the next one, maybe on Monday. But look, check the community post for more. Right now, I need to eat my pizza, put my feet up, and chill my poor heart before I faint. Because if I faint, you're not seeing the cake. But the month is ending. For my American audience, happy Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you all had a great time. Christmas is coming. Let's make it a good one, and let's keep hope alive. I'll see you on the next one. Love you all. Thank you, and happy baking. Bye-bye.